Good morning. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Thursday, July 30th. Let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps, which are higher by 0.74% this morning. We're recapping some of yesterday's losses. You know, the key themes here today are earnings, economics, and Middle East action. Microsoft's strong earnings announcement last night really is a key driver behind, the positive momentum this morning. In the Middle East, U.S. launched airstrikes on Iran overnight in response to the Iranian recent attack. It was said to be stronger than normal, but not really massive. So, that's kind of a positive. But yesterday we had the Fed announcement, and the net takeaway from the Fed chair Kevin Warsh's press conference was really a decline in Fed credibility, because Warsh's comments really were met with a jump in yields on the long end of the curve. Then when that typically happens, it signifies that the street doesn't really believe him, and his comments were described as rambling. He didn't provide any guidance, and you're cutting off the guidance right away. That's kind of hard for the markets to deal with. So your comments of, the bonds are, the market's doing it for us, while understood and legitimate, it's not good enough. And that's, it wasn't a good press conference. On the economic calendar, we got a lot of reports. We got the jobless claims due out. We got the GDP data. And, of course, the inflation report, the PCE data coming out. In corporate news, the big story really is IBM and the University of Chicago claimed the quantum advantage milestone. That came out this morning. Yesterday in the conference call, Meta Platforms, the CEO, really did push back on the idea of renting out some of their excess capacity. Five9 is set to join the S&P 600 on August 3rd. Shell is talking about $3 billion in new share buybacks. That's positive. On the earnings front, we got Microsoft, Lam Research, and Starbucks all trading higher, where Meta, ARM, and Qualcomm are lower. After the bell today, we got earnings reports from Apple, Amazon, Coinbase, Reddit, and DXCM. Looking ahead to Friday morning, tomorrow morning, we got Aviva, we got Chevron, we got Clorox, we got ExxonMobil, all scheduled to report. Taking a look at the European markets, we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is up 0.31%. It opened up lower, moved higher, fell back to about flat, and now it's up about a little more than 0.3%. Eurozone, economy actually expanded 0.4% in the second quarter of 2026, which beat expectations of 0.2% growth. In London, the FTSE's up 0.37%, supported by financials and mining stocks. You got that BOE announcement this morning. France and Paris, the CAC is up 1.07%. You get tech and financials trading higher, and the French economy grew 0.2% quarter over quarter in the second quarter of 2026. So that's all positive. Looking over at Asia last night, the Nikkei rallied 0.71% as chip stocks rose, while financial stocks weakened ahead of the BOJ decision that's due out today. The Hong Kong rallied, 0.2% or 50 points, supported by tech shares and a key IPO, which helped the index push to a new high. China, the Shanghai market finished lower by 0.62%. Tech shares will weaken, and there's some cautiousness there ahead of some key economic reports that are due out shortly. Then we're looking over at oil, and oil is trading lower, down about 1%. The U.S. launched airstrikes against Iranian targets. They weren't as big as what they kind of thought they were going to be. So that's why you're seeing some weakness in oil this morning. There's no new catalyst. There's no new talks. The peace accord's not going to happen. The real hope is that, the stalemate just continues without escalating. That's really what the key is here. Yesterday, the EIA said oil inventories fell by 7.2 million barrels for the weekend in July 24th, much bigger than the expectations of a 600,000 barrel draw. Okay, now we're turning on over to earnings, and we got to start off with Microsoft, Mr. Softy. I mean, the fact of the matter is they beat by 50 cents, and they did it on higher revenue, and that stock's higher by 9.64% this morning. Then we got to look at Meta, which talk about the reverse of the tape. Meta shares are lower by 9.81% this morning, as they missed by $1.04, but it was done on higher revenue. Starbucks SBUX, they're up by 5.34%. They beat by 20 cents on higher revenue. And I just want to point out Silicon Motion Technologies, SIMO, that stock's up 17.42% this morning as they beat by 32 cents on higher revenue. SIMO was my pick of the day yesterday. Okay, after the bell today, we got Apple. EPS is $1.88. Expected move is 3.83%. We got Amazon. EPS is $1.82. Expected move is 7.06%. Remember, they moved Prime Day into June this year. Reddit, RDDT, their EPS is 99 cents with an expected move of 11.98% when they release. Okay, in terms of economic reports, GDP, jobless claims, PC reports. These are the key reports coming out today. What can I say? When you look at the PC report, there's a variety of factors, but overall it seems to be that the inflation is going to be lower a little bit as compared to what it has been. For jobless claims, the expectation is 201K. Last week it came in at 187, which was extremely weak. So 201K might be a little bit low, but we'll have to wait and see for that report, which is due out at 8:30 a.m. This morning. Okay, what else we got today? Let me see. We're moving on. We're talking about the news hitting the tape this morning. I mean, I guess we got to, talk a little bit about Apple and Amazon as their earnings are coming out after the bell. I mean, Apple has a put-call ratio of 0.84, which is okay. Not great, but okay. Amazon's put-call ratio is 0.60, which kind of is in a sweet spot. You look at Apple, it's trading lower this morning, whereas in Amazon's showing a strong gain. Meta kept their AI spending increases there, yet, you got to remember, the company's revenues are all tied to ad sales. And the ad sales are tied to their core social media apps. They've come up with a number of different products, and none of them have really been successful, outside of social media. So, the weakness is there because, when they talk about selling excess data capacity, Zuckerberg pushed back. He thinks he's going to be able to sell his AI model to companies. The jury's out on that. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. Netflix is on watch today because, Peace Guy deal for Warner Brothers, it may fall apart. There's a lot of negativity surrounding it. In terms of Dow Jones 30 news, the big one out there is the IBM and University of Chicago claim the quantum advantage milestones. In terms of merger news, ICE, New York Stock Exchange, ICE is buying market access in a $6 billion deal. These guys they're a provider of bond market trading. In terms of guidance news, Starbucks sees full year 2026 EPS coming in at $2.55 to $2.65. Street estimates $2.39. That's an uptick. Then you got Meta. Meta sees Q3 revenue coming in $61 billion to $64 billion. Street estimates at $63.24 billion. Not great, not a great guidance, but we'll see. In terms of buyback news, Intercontinental Exchange, NYSE, their board increases size of their share repurchasing program up to $4 billion. Yet Crocs had upsized their share buyback authorization to $2 billion. And LabCorp, ticker LH, they boosted their share repurchasing authorization by $1 billion. It now stands at $1.4 billion. Okay, now we're going to move on today's pick of the day, and I'm going to go with Roadblocks, RBLX. Earnings are due out after the bell. Now the EPS is a negative 34 cents, and the expected move is 13.76%. Got to remember, last quarter their earnings have really been hurt by the rollout of their age verification software. That really hurt them, and that stock is pulled back, more than 50%. And it's now hanging at a big support area. So, take a look at that call volume yesterday. 9,356 calls versus 3,737 puts. That's a 0.40 put to call ratio. Open interest 212K to 135K. That's positive as well. And the major brokers, they're now starting to raise price targets. They think the weakness is going to be over with. So, yeah, I like Roadblocks, RBLX. In terms of an entry price, it's $49.51 to $50 right now. So, I'll say $49.25 area as my entry price. But I do think we're going to see a little bit of a pop in Roblox today. Okay, let's talk about the news hitting the tape over the last 15 minutes or so. Let's see what we got here. LRN, Stride CEO, departs. Comcast, CMCSA, Comcast Universal Ads launched 2 categories in business partner programs. eBay completes its acquisition of Depop. BMY, Bristol-Myers, notes 5 billion share repurchasing authorization remains as of June 30th. Cigna raised annual profit forecast on the strength of its health services unit. Target retailers expect strong back-to-school sales, and this is important because that's a precursor to Christmas spending. So if the back-to-school sales are strong, that is an indication that the Christmas sales will be strong. So you want to watch your retailers: Target, Walmart, TJ Maxx in this area. The European Community authorized Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine in the EU. It's positive. All right, that's what I got going on. All right, let's talk about yesterday's pick of the day, which was Silicon Motion Technologies, SIMO. Listen, the stock opened up at 224.64, and it ran to 229.57. But then the market just got smoked, and that fell along with it. It's a tech stock, and it actually fell down to 204.37 before closing at 209.68. This morning, after the blowout earnings, SIMO it's rallying. Last I saw was 237, but I'm looking at it now, and the last trade is 244. So you look at the opening price of 224, and it's now up $20 from there. That more than beats the 1% goal that we set out when we're making these picks. A lot of volatility. We're very nervous here, but SIMO was a big winner, so you got to be pleased with that. All right, traders, that concludes today's NewsWare's Trade Talk podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.